And the Emmy goes to Kelsey Grammer for Frasier.
It's September 1994. Kelsey Grammer is at the microphone, accepting the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor, the first of the 4 he will win for playing Frasier Crane.
Would have thought that old fascination would wear off by now.
He thanks the people you would expect a leading man to thank. And then near the end, he thanks someone called Moose, who was not nominated, who could not understand a word of the speech, and who was, at that moment, almost certainly asleep on a sofa 20 miles away.
Moose, this is for you.
Moose was a Jack Russell Terrier.
Eddie, you little hooligan, get off that couch!
On screen, he was Eddie, the staring, scene-stealing dog who belonged to Martin Crane.
No, Dad, no, not Eddie.
But he's my best friend. Give me my beer, will
But
you?
he's weird.
And made the psychiatrist's life a misery for more than a decade. Off-screen, he had already been passed from one overwhelmed owner to another before he was 3 years old.
What are you doing? Disgusting, you filthy thing! Get out of here right now! Get out!
Stanley, I'm so sorry.
A dog who could not be house-trained, chewed through everything he could reach, and once climbed a tree to escape the only family he had.
Moose loves to chase squirrels and hang out in the sun.
This is the story of how the most unmanageable dog in Florida became the most beloved animal on American television.
Oh. Dear God, he's licking me. Oh, Eddie. Eddie, just stop.
And of how the very wildness that drove his owners crazy is the thing that made him a star.
He was so mischievous and yet so much energy, fearless little dog with a lot of personality and charisma.
The Florida Terror. He was born on Christmas Eve, 1990 in Florida, the youngest of the litter and, with the contrarian logic that would define his entire life, the largest puppy of the bunch. His first owners were a Florida family, Sam and Connie Theis. Connie was a veterinary technician. Not even someone who worked with animals for a living could tame this one.
A family that had him for 2 years was really looking to find a new life for him because he had been nothing else but a terror.
He dug, he chewed, he barked, he escaped constantly.
Efforts are futile. I can't even see you.
He could climb a tree, straight up, about 6 feet, and out in Marion County, he liked to roll in cow manure, with a particular enthusiasm reserved for returning for round 2 in the moments right after a bath.
Small dog in the shape of a big troublemaker.
The Theises had sold 3 puppies from the litter and kept Moose. Eventually, they realized their mistake. One day, at the vet's office, Connie Theis offered him to a woman named Kathy Morrison, the manager of Birds and Animals Unlimited, the company that ran the Animal Actors Showcase at Universal Studios Florida. Morrison said she would think it over and talk to her husband. Theis couldn't wait that long and handed her the leash on the spot.
Were you thinking of letting him run free in the park? Haven't you seen the way he tries to romance my towel warmer?
That's the shape of this whole story, really. Every person who couldn't cope with him passed him along to someone slightly better equipped until he finally reached the person who saw something nobody else had thought to consider.
I was dozing quite peacefully when it started screaming away for no reason at all.
The trainer who saw it, Kathy Morrison, worked with him for about 18 months. He lived at her house. He lived at Universal Studios, though ironically he never once performed there.
Do your stuff. That's it.
When she went to Toronto for a film shoot, the two of them shared a hotel room. And somewhere in all that, it became clear that this maddening little dog, for all the trouble, had something.
All he cares about is his own selfish pleasure.
He was animated. He was fearless. He was badly behaved mostly because he was bored.
Eddie, come here. This is ridiculous. Oh, look at it. Oh.
Then he was put on a plane. At around 2.5 years old, Moose was flown across the country to a trainer named Mathilde de Cagny, who worked for the same animal company.
He was adopted. He originally comes from Florida.
De Cagny would go on to train animals for Martin Scorsese, for Hugo, for As Good as It Gets. But in the early 90s, she was simply handed a small, wired, twice-rejected terrier with worn-down teeth and a reputation.
Stay. Circle. Good.
She didn't try to fix him. Instead, she decided to put him to work and trained him.
I knew right away Moose was going to be a challenge, and he sure has been.
The traits that had made him unbearable in a home setting were, in front of a camera, exactly the qualities you cannot teach a dog to have.
Training is not about who's the master and who's the toughest, and so it was all about communication and get to an understanding.
The quality that I saw in Moose of stock potential was that he was so mischievous and yet so much energy, fearless little dog.
Kanye later said the things that drew her to him were his mischief, his fearlessness, and his charisma.
Go away.
Within months, he had won the job that made him famous.
Bring it on, Buster. You got nothing. You can't touch me. I'm...
The audition and the stare. In 1993, the producers of a new Cheers spin-off series called Frasier needed a dog. Not a dog who could do flips or fetch on cue or roll over for a biscuit. They needed a dog who could sit and stare. The character, Eddie, the pet of Frasier's everyman father, Martin, was built around a single joke at first. The dog would simply look at Frasier with a silent and relentless stare, the withering judgment of a creature who has seen straight through you. It sounds simple, but this is an almost impossible thing to ask of an animal.
Eddie Crane from Seattle, your word is woof.
Dogs don't hold a stare. They glance, they sniff, they get distracted by a smell 3 rooms away. Moose could hold the stare for minutes, though. The secret was recognizable.
Training is not about who's the master and who's the toughest, and so it was all about communication and get to an understanding.
Just off camera, Ducogny used tiny cues, fingers, bait sticks, treats, whatever worked, and Moose would lock on until she released him. He got the part.
So we bought about 8 different dogs, and it wasn't so much about what they can do, but we lined them up, and the producer looked at Moose and said, that's it, it's him.
The pilot, The Good Son, aired on the 16th of September, 1993, and the gag worked instantly. The audience fell in love with Eddie at first sight.
Dad, have you mentioned Eddie yet?
Eddie!
Ta-ta.
The hottest pooch in America, stardom did not creep up on Moose. It arrived all at once.
Tell me a little bit about the dog. It's like the big star now, the dog. The dog is on the cover of magazines.
Yes.
2 covers of TV
covers.
Guide.
This dog
2
is all
separate
everywhere you
TV
go.
guides there. Here's some entertainment magazine. There's the dog.
He debuted in September. There was a segment on Entertainment Tonight. He turned up on Letterman alongside Grammer.
His real name is Moose.
Moose, come here, buddy. There you go, Moose.
here, Moose.
Hey, babe, how are you? How old is Moose?
I think he's 4 years old.
These are great dogs.
And on the 3rd of December, 1993, under 3 months after the pilot, a Jack Russell Terrier appeared on the cover of Entertainment Weekly, which called him the hottest pooch to be unleashed on the airwaves in years. The fan mail came next.
Yeah, I love you, you little mutt.
The NBC mailroom began taking in hundreds of letters a week addressed to Moose, including breeding requests, job offers, and gushing praise.
He gets tons of gifts. He gets to be pampered in a way that every time we go to a special event, he will be picked up by a limousine.
The lore that grew up around the show held that Eddie received more fan mail than any of the human stars, a claim repeated so often it became a kind of fact.
Life magazine now, here is the dog right there, yeah.
And the money tracked the fame. Moose was reportedly paid around $10,000 an episode, said to be the highest sum ever handed to an animal, and across his career he is estimated to have earned somewhere near $3.2 million.
It's your money.
Not bad for a dog last seen rolling in a Florida cow pasture. The most disciplined cast member.
Good boy. Hold it.
Eddie was, by the creator's own admission, a cynical addition. The team behind Frasier had been told what every network knows, that test audiences warm to kids and to dogs, and so, to lift their numbers, they wrote in a dog.
They thought it would be perfect, his charisma will be perfect to play the role of Eddie to annoy Frasier and outsmart him.
Co-creator David Lee has been very honest about it. By his own account, the dog was a calculated play for the test audience scores. Nothing more.
I love that. People like dogs.
What they had not counted on was the dog stealing the show. And here's the contradiction at the center of Moose's working life, the thing that makes him far more interesting than any adorable TV pet segment ever allowed him to be.
Bigger and flashier and better looking, but you have substance. She knows that.
On camera, he was the consummate professional, hitting his marks, holding his stares, doing in a single take what other dogs could not manage in 20. Off camera, a fair number of his colleagues could not stand him.
He's good at his job.
Do you get along well with the animal?
It's not that you really get along with him. It's like you're working.
And the feeling was entirely mutual.
Frasier, not everybody likes dogs. Take me. I'm a cat person.
He bit John Mahoney repeatedly. Mahoney, who played Eddie's on-screen owner, the man the dog was supposed to adore, could not get Moose to settle on his lap.
You know, if you want to pet him, fine. He'll let you do it, but he's not going to do anything for you like wag his tail unless you give him a piece of liver.
Grammer, directing an episode, once told him to do exactly that, and Mahoney flatly refused. By Grammer's telling, the animal was forever biting the love of his fictional life.
He can be a little terror at times, but really not so bad. He's just a hardworking little dog.
The crew solved it the same way they solved everything with Moose, with bribery, sardine oil on the hands, and liver pate behind the ears. A tender shot of Eddie nuzzling someone adoringly was, more often than not, a dog going after his lunch.
Sometimes he makes me look like a fool, but sometimes he makes me look really smart.
Jane Leaves once described him to Vanity Fair as a complicated little fellow. Mahoney, for his part, refused to think of him as a pet at all. He told the Los Angeles Times that he never thought of Eddie as a dog.
Eddie! Eddie! Where are you, boy? Dad, wake up! Dad, are you in there?
Eddie's unlike any dog I've ever known in my life, in that I don't even consider him a dog. I consider him an actor.
And then there was Grammer, whose character's entire relationship with Eddie was one of simmering exasperation, and who, the cast agreed, was not always acting.
Good boy, Eddie. Just get down. Good. Eddie, get down. Get down!
Asked by the Washington Post in 1994 whether that on-screen rivalry leaked into real life, he did not quite deny it. He drew the line, he said, at people calling the dog a good little actor. He said he was not an actor, he was a dog. And on the persistent claim that Eddie out-earned him in affection, Grammer was wonderfully terse. People loved to say the dog got more fan mail than he did, and he, for one, would not know.
You don't have a relationship with him.
Really?
Well, he's kind of,
But the dog...
out of touch.
The line between the character and the animal had genuinely blurred. Eddie resented Frasier. Grammer, it seems, resented Moose right back.
Just ignore him. I'm trying to. I'm talking to the dog.
The Dynasty. By the mid-90s, it was obvious Frasier would run for years, which raised an awkward, practical question. What do you do when your most photogenic cast member is a dog with a finite number of years in him?
That is the horny little mixed breed who got my Phoebe pregnant.
You breed a spare.
My relationship to Enzo is very, very special because he's one of the very few dogs that I've actually raised at home. I normally rescue all my dogs.
Moose was put to stud, and the resulting puppies were assessed like understudies.
Ross, how can you just toss him aside after such a tender display of affection?
I can do it with men, too.
A daughter, Miko, never grew large enough for the part and was given away. A son named Moosey had the wrong markings, close but not close enough, and was adopted by Perry Gilpin, who played Frasier's best friend and producer, Roz Doyle. And then there was Enzo, born in July 1995, who turned out to be the closest match of all.
Jumps on Dr. Crane's bed, drools on his pillow, chews on his slippers.
Really?
Same size, same temperament, and, crucially, very nearly the same face. There is a perfect piece of trivia buried in here. The episode in which Eddie fathers a litter of puppies, the unkindest cut of all, the second episode of Season 2, which aired on the 27th of September 1994, needed a box of Jack Russell pups.
Couldn't you just eat them all?
For God's sake, please, don't love them. They'll think they're staying. Keep them off the...
Reportedly, one of the puppies in that box was Enzo himself, the future Eddie, making his screen debut as his own father's illegitimate offspring. Now, we would not want minor details like dates to get in the way of a good story, so let's leave that one there.
Well, now listen, it's for your own good. Believe me, you'll be much happier afterwards.
The handover to Enzo when it came was not a smooth one.
He's destroyed part of my house, he's escaped, he's picked many more dog fights. He's been extremely difficult dog, but difficult can be interesting.
Father and son did not get along. They could not, in fact, be on the set at the same time. By co-creator Peter Casey's account, Moose and Enzo simply hated each other, a feud he chalked up with a perfectly straight face, to the sort of parent and child rivalry Hollywood manufactures all the time.
Moose and Enzo have a very different personality. Moose and Enzo's relationship is so bad that they can't even be in the same room together.
The side hustles. A star of Moose's wattage does not confine himself to a single show. In 2000, Moose made the jump to feature films in My Dog Skip, directed by Jack Russell and starring Frankie Muniz, Diane Lane, Kevin Bacon, and Luke Wilson. But the title role was shared. Enzo, Moose's son, carried much of the part as Skip in his prime, while Moose appeared as the older Skip. That same year came the book, My Life as a Dog, an autobiography published in March 2000 by Harper Entertainment, was told in the voice of Moose himself and actually written by Brian Hargrove, who happened to be the partner of David Hyde Pierce.
Hey! Ow! Ooh.
It is exactly as silly as it sounds, and it sold on precisely the premise you would expect. A rags-to-riches tale, narrated by a terrier with a colossal ego. And around all of it ran the merchandising machinery of a genuine celebrity. Rolled gold pretzel commercials, a print campaign for Coach, a Moose calendar, a trip to the Cannes Film Festival, and the book jacket proudly claimed magazine covers spanning Life, TV Guide, and Entertainment Weekly. He flew first class. He traveled by limousine. He was, for a stretch of the 90s, the most famous dog alive.
The perks of being a dog star are pretty great. He gets fan mails. He gets to travel first class. People love him so much that he's given all this attention and all this love.
The handover. Enzo had begun as a stunt double, brought in for the more physically demanding tricks his aging father could no longer be bothered with. Then, around the turn of the decade, he simply became Eddie.
Gosh, what'd I just find in my pocket? Is that tri-tip with peanut butter?
The makeup team touched up his markings to match Moose's exactly, and the audience never noticed. One of the most recognizable animals on television was replaced by his own son, mid-run, and not a single viewer wrote in to complain. By the time he stepped back, Moose had appeared in more than 100 episodes. It was the cleanest succession in show business. For all the off-screen feuding, the on-screen handover was seamless.
He looks good. Well, Eddie's tough. Plus, the smartest dog ever.
The king abdicated, the prince took the throne, and the people of the realm never knew the difference. The Last Bow. Frasier filmed its final episode in the spring of 2004, 11 seasons after it began. By then, Moose was an old dog, around 13, and he looked it.
What's the matter with your dog? He looks a little glassy-eyed.
His coat had gone white, and he was nearly deaf. He'd long since retired from the work. But on the night the last episode was taped, Mathilde de Cagny carried him out into the soundstage so he could stand with the cast for the final bow.
That's better. Eddie, come on, say hello. Oh my God, my Eddie!
David Hyde Pierce never forgot it. Watching the old dog register the applause, feeling it somehow rather than hearing it, was, he said, one of the most moving moments of the whole evening. The cast said goodbye to a great many things that night. One of them was him.
Good boy.
Retirement and the end. He spent his last years in West Los Angeles in de Cagny's home, surrounded by the only family that had ever truly worked for him. There was de Cagny and her husband, Michael Hallberg. There was his son Enzo, the old rivalry presumably softened by age. And there was a dog named Jill, the terrier from As Good as It Gets, because, of course, the retirement home for Hollywood's animal actors featured its own ensemble cast. On the 22nd of June, 2006, Moose died of old age at home where he was loved. He was 15, though, in a fittingly chaotic last act. His age was misreported almost everywhere as 16. His trainer remembered the charisma and the free-spirited streak that had never once left him.
Don't worry, Niles. You'll get used to it.
4 years later, almost to the day, on the 23rd of June, 2010, Enzo died too. The father and the son, who played the same legendary role, left the world within a day of the same date.
Oh, wait, there's something missing. Where's Eddie?
Oh, he's in the bathroom getting a drink. Eddie!
Now, let's return to that Emmy stage in 1994. Kelsey Grammer, newly crowned, leaning into the microphone to thank a sleeping dog miles away.
Moose, this is for you.
At the time, it played like a gracious joke, a star being generous to the mascot. But it wasn't really a joke. What audiences really loved about Eddie was never obedience. It was the opposite. It was the glint in the eye of a creature who would not be told, who stared down the smartest man in Seattle and refused to blink. The same untamable streak that got a puppy thrown out of 3 homes in Florida pointed, at last, at a camera. They'd spent years trying to train it out of him in the living room. It turned out to be his secret weapon. He was the little dog nobody could handle. He became the one they could not replace.
Just about all animals have a heaven.
Is Eddie going?
Oh, no, not Eddie. Not for a long time, anyway. I mean, he's really still just a puppy.